Honorable colleagues, like I said, we have with us in the chambers today colleagues, our legislators, members of the Committee on Interparliamentary Relations of Oyo State, House of Assembly. They are here on a peer learning visit. You're very welcome to the House of Representatives. Honorable colleagues, I have communication from Mr. President. Transmission of the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja 2020 Statutory Appropriation. Pursuant to sections 120 to 122 and 299 of the 1999 Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria as amended, I forward herewith the 2021 Statutory Appropriation of the Federal Capital Territory Administration, Abuja, for the kind consideration and passage by the House of Representatives. The revenue estimates and expenditure are consistent with the federal government's 2021 budget of economic recovery and resilience, which prioritizes healthcare service provision, job creation, youth empowerment, social welfare services, education, agricultural investment, and poverty alleviation. Whilst appreciating your expeditious consideration of the submission, please accept, Right Honorable Speaker, the assurances of my highest consideration. Muhammadu Buhari. I think we have with us one of us wearing a new look, Honorable Jafar Mohammed, who was just, I think about a week ago, did his coronation as, I'm trying to remember what that was now, Shetima, a very powerful title in Niger State. Congratulations, Honorable Mohammed, for this great honor that has been bestowed on you and by extension on the House of Representatives as a whole. Congrats. Honorable colleagues, we'll move very rapidly through today's session. We will need to be out of here by 2. Unfortunately, the Deputy Speaker is not around to take over when I take my leave, so we'll have to leave at about 2 o'clock because I have very pressing engagements from 2:30. So we're going to have to move as quickly as we can. We might end up skipping some items. I hope not, but if we have to. Honorable colleagues, in order to streamline our activities and make the committee work more efficient, the leadership has set up 3 new committees, the membership of which will be announced hopefully sometime next week. But the leadership of the committees are as follows. First will be the host communities, and the chairman will also automatically be a member of the PIB because host committees is a very major part of the PIB. The chairman of the host communities committee will be from Rivers State, Honorable Deco. Deputy Chairman, Honorable Ikena Elezianya. Committees on Disabilities, Chairman, Princess Miriam Unohe, and she will be deputized by Honorable Kamsol from Plateau State. The Committee on Science, Research Institutes. The chairman will be Honorable Akinremi. We all know him as Jagaba. He will be deputized by the new Shatima, Honorable Jafar Mohammed. Honorable Jagaba used to be the deputy chairman in science and technology, and he now takes over the chair, like I said, of the Science Research Institute. So his former position as deputy chairman of science and technology will be filled by Honorable Kolapo from Ogun State. We go to petitions. Any petition? Honorable Adejare.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Honorable colleagues, I still remain Honorable Dr. Samuel Babatunde Adejare. I represent the wonderful people of Agege Federal Constituency of Lagos State, the state of excellence. Mr. Speaker, sir, the petition I beg to lay this morning is about the Health Plus Nigeria Limited, a foremost pharmaceutical company in Nigeria that is being forcefully taken over by a private UK equity firm. It's been, they've taken themselves to court, rulings have been given. And
Honorable Boma, please, can you approach the chair? Honorable Boma, please, can you approach the chair?
And judgments have been given, but has not been obeyed. So therefore, they brought this petition before us. I beg to lay it, sir. Thank you so much, sir.
Honorable Blessing. Honorable Blessing, please approach the chief whip for clearance, please. Blessing.
She's asking me for protection.
Yes, protect me, sir. I'm already...
No, go to him, then I will talk to him.
Am I protected?
You are protected. Acting there, please. Once it takes clearance from you, please allow her.
As you please, sir. Thank you. Honorable Shagun. Honorable. Please, you are interrupting the speaker, please.
Yes, sorry. Honorable Adejare, you will lay your petition, please. Any other petition? No, we'll save the best for last. Honorable Leo will come last. We'll move like this. Honorable Leo, 1 second, please. Isiaka, you have a petition? Go ahead.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. My name is Honorable Rep. Ibrahim Ayokunle Isiaka. I speak for and on behalf of the good people of Ifo, Ewekoro Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, I'm from the Gateway State to Nigeria. I'm from Ogun State. I rise to present before Mr. Speaker a petition from one of my constituents, a promoter of a company called Sabin Nigeria Limited. They have been patronized for several years by Ogun River Basin Development Authority, and recently they were awarded contract for provision of water supply treatment plants to communities in Ile-Igbon, Lagelu local government area of Oyo State for construction of earth dam. Having fulfilled all contractual obligations, the Ogun River Development Basin Authority, according to them, have defaulted, and this is causing a serious injury to the company. They have now recourse to come before the House to Mr. Speaker for a rescue. I hereby wish to lay the petition before you. Thank you, sir.
You may lay the petition. Honorable Leo Ogo.
Honorable colleagues, I am Honorable Leo Ogo. I represent the Isoko Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, my colleagues, I'm from Delta State. I have a petition in favor of Obunaya, who is my constituent. He has petition against the Nigerian army, in which he has actually gone to the court, and the court have refused the issue. It is therefore his opinion that I should present this petition before the House, if the House permits. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Leo. You may lay your petition. So good to see you in chambers. Honorable Leo Ogo, for the new members who are not aware, was my sparring partner when I was the minority leader. We both enjoyed this chamber. It's good to see you, Honorable Leo. Well done. You could hear from his presentation, the world of experience here. The General. The General. Any more petitions? All petitions are referred to the Committee on Public Petitions. Honorable Ibakwa.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I am Honorable Ben Roland Igbapa. I represent Ethiopia East, Ethiopia West. By the special grace of God, we're from Delta State. Mr. Speaker, I come under Order 8, Rule 4, to enable me bring a matter of urgent public importance that has to do with the implication and preparedness of Nigeria in the agreement establishing the African Continental Free Trade Agreement that is to be implemented in January 2021. Mr. Speaker, it is urgent, and I want to appeal that we suspend all relevant rules of the House to enable me take it immediately. I beg to move.
Honorable Shatima.
Mr. Speaker, sir, honorable colleagues, I am Lawan Shatima Ali, representing Brusari, Gaidam Unitary Federal Constituency and Promobia Sesa. I stand to second the motion ably moved by my colleague. I say second, sir.
Those in favor, please say aye. Those against, please say nay. The ayes have it. Honorable Ibaka, please move your motion.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Okay, thank you, Mr. Mr. Speaker, once again, I am Honorable Ben Roland Sigbakwa. I represent Ethiopia East, Ethiopia West, and by the special grace of God, we're from Delta State. The motion is on the need to appraise the implications for preparedness of Nigeria in the agreement establishing the African Continental Free Trade Area Agreement of the Federal and its attendant economic and security implication on Nigeria. The House notes that on the 7th of July 2019, Mr. President, on behalf of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, signed the agreement establishing the African Continental Free Trade Agreement at the African Union Summit in Nigeria. Earlier in March 2019, about 44 member countries of the AU endorsed the agreement during the 18th extraordinary session of the Assembly of AU Heads of State and Government in Kigali, the capital of Rwanda. Also note that the agreement meant to establish a common protocol to allow free movement of goods and services among member nations of AU can only benefit Nigeria with robust, improved, and sustained production capacity. Aware that with a porous border system and a mono economy without substantial production, for instance, there are fears that the agreements as presented are conceptualized will open the country's seaports, airports, and other businesses to unbridled foreign interference and domination, which, according to the Nigeria Labour Congress, constitute a renewed, extremely dangerous and radioactive neoliberal policy initiative. Also aware that Nigeria, as Africa's largest economy and most populous country with a GDP of about $405 billion and a population of about 180 million, Nigeria, which is also Africa's largest market, cannot afford to execute such agreement without full and proper consultation with all stakeholders, especially the National Assembly. Disturbed that the agreement will impact on government revenue and social. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Disturbed that the agreement will impact on government revenue and social welfare as it tends to eliminate all tariffs among African countries. This will erode the trading state's treasury by up to $4.1 billion annually and deepen poverty, with millions of Africa potentially exposed to starvation and debt. Also disturbed that Nigeria's businesses are not well positioned to take full advantage of the agreement, as there are no infrastructure that will promote the product that we seek to export. Moreover, little or no incentive is given to the private sector for value addition, and we cannot continue to export raw materials and get peanuts in return. Concerned that if the necessary safeguards, e.g., development of the nation's infrastructure, protection of our borders, setting up monitoring teams, and developing capacity of local manufacturers are not put in place urgently before the full takeoff of the agreement by January or implementation of the agreement, then the imminent fear over the possibility of having locally produced products dumped into the country and mislabeled by other countries across the continent becomes imperative, and the nation may not gain from the agreement. Aware that as was previous agreements such as the West African Free Trade that creates more movement of goods and services, Nigeria with a huge potential and vast resources has failed to achieve maximum value through the African market to boost the nation's economy. Believes that taking into consideration Nigeria's comparative advantage, since Nigeria is a huge market not only to Africa but to Europe, America, and Asia, and also necessary measures should be put in place for the proper implementation of the agreement so as to guarantee Nigeria's maximum benefit thereof. The House therefore resolves that the Minister of Justice and Attorney General, the Minister of Commerce, Trade and Investment, the Minister of Foreign Affairs, and the Comptroller General of Customs to brief the relevant committees of the House on the implication of the agreement establishing the African Continental Free Trade Agreement signed by Mr. President on behalf of the Federal Republic of Nigeria on the nation's foreign economy and security. 2, release for public scrutiny the implementation roadmap and preparedness of Nigeria to avoid Nigeria being a dumping ground and a consuming nation in this agreement and further decimate our already fragile economy. 3, that the relevant committees to interface with the Comptroller General of Customs, Immigration, and other security agencies to determine Nigeria's custom and excise, immigration, and preparedness of the agreement, establishing the African Free Trade Agreement, and the attendant security challenges on the country's border, seaport, airports, and report back within 2 weeks. I beg to move, Mr. Speaker.
Chairman, treaties and agreements, Honorable Osai Osai.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, distinguished honorable colleagues. I remain Honorable Osai Nicholas Osai. I represent Ndoko Okwani Federal Constituency of Delta State. Honorable Mr. Speaker, my duty, as you have observed me, is to second this motion. But at the same time, I also want to bring into the notice of the House that this motion, this prayer is part of the prayer that was adopted around October by this Honorable House, which my committee have already communicated to the Attorney General, to the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, to the Attorney General, that such agreement should be submitted to the National Assembly.
No, I thought you were...
No, the motion also is part of the component of what has been passed by the House.
No, what are you doing now? Are you seconding or what are you doing? Because sorry, I wasn't paying attention. What are you doing now?
Yeah, I say the duty as observed by Mr. Speaker is for me to second this motion. And secondly, also, it is also my duty to be able to bring an information to this House.
Oh, if you want to contribute to the debate, there's a process.
I didn't want to raise this issue.
Just second the motion.
Okay, let me raise a point of order on this issue.
No.
A point of order. Order 8, Order 9, Rule 6.
What page?
Order 9, Rule 6. Order 9, Rule 6.
What page?
That is page 39.
Yeah, go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, distinguished honorable colleagues, for this privilege. Order 9, Rules of Debate, sub-Rule 6. It shall be out of order to attempt to reconsider any specific question upon which the House has come to a conclusion during the current section, except upon a substantive motion for rescission.
Okay.
Mr. Speaker, these particular prayers are part of the component of the decision of the House, which this Honorable Committee on Treaties, Protocols, and Agreements brought before you. And the committee have also done the needful by a letter communicating to Mr. President, to the Attorney General of Federation, to forthwith transmit this particular agreement that the Federal Republic of Nigeria have signed on behalf of this country to the committee. As I'm talking with you, Mr. Speaker, I've also written a reminder to such effect. You know, the problem is that sometimes...
So your point of order is that this matter has been addressed by this House and it has come to a specific question has been put.
Yeah.
Chairman Business, do you want to speak to Honorable Osai Osai's point of order that this matter is something that has already been considered by this House?
I would have to make some research. I'm not sure whether the issue has been debated and decision taken.
Okay. All right, so I have no reason to doubt Honorable Osai Osai. I don't believe that he will just stand up on the floor and say the matter has already been considered. But to make assurances double sure and in the abundance of caution, I think we'll step this matter down for us to look into the records, because if that is so, then his point of order is in order. So matter step down till Tuesday, by which time you'll okay. And if you're able to dig into it before we close the business of the day, so matter step down until such a time until Tuesday for now. Honorable, somebody had a motion on, who's that? Yes. Your mic. Honorable Timmy, go ahead.
Okay. Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, my name is Timei Adeligbe. I represent the Moni people of our Federal constituency. I want to stand on order 8 to 4 to present the motion of the gruesome murder of the first-class monarch in my constituency by suspected kidnappers. I so move, sir.
Any Rev?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Right Reverend Francis Ejirogane Waive. I represent the entire people of Ugele North, Ugele South, and Udu. I'm from Delta State. I rise to second the motion ably moved by my colleague and neighbor, Honorable Timei. I so second, Mr. Speaker.
Those in favor, please say aye. Those against, please say nay. Ayes have it. Honorable Timei, please go ahead. Move your motion.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker and honorable colleagues. Again, my name is Timei Adeligbe. I represent our Federal constituency, where a first-class Oba Israel Adegoke Adeusi, the Olufa of Ifo, was closely murdered by suspected kidnappers. The House notes with heavy heart that around 4 p.m. on Thursday, the 26th of November 2020, His Royal Majesty Oba Israel Adegoke, the Olufa of Ifo, a first-class monarch in Ose local government of Ondo State, was murdered in broad daylight by unknown government suspected to be kidnappers.
Honorable Indelsa, please allow the speaker to concentrate, please. We have shorter time.
Further notes that the monarch was returning to his palace in uniform from Akure in his official car, which carried his customized number plate, when he was accosted.
Honorable Indelsa, please.
When he was accosted at a bad portion of Elegbeka Road, where vehicles are compelled to slow down due to bad roads, as the road between Ipili and Ifon has several failed portions where kidnappers do hibernate to commit their heinous act. Worried that the major outlet of these criminals is the road linking Edo and Ondo State through Okeluse Bridge, the contract of the construction of which was awarded in 2018, about 11 years ago, but abandoned by the Federal Ministry of Works, and it remains one of the dangerous spots posing serious security threat to the inhabitants of the area. Further worried that the road linking Nimeri and Ayegule in Edo State has been abandoned for over 10 years in spite of yearly budgetary allocation of the sum of over 200 million to it year in, year out, without any sign of work. This is another outlet of criminals within the local government. Deeply concerned that for as long as these identified areas of federal road remain abandoned, they will continue to hideouts for criminals who could pitch their tents in a journey bush around the spot, come out to attack unsuspecting motorists and other road users and run into bush to take cover. Further concerned that the spread of kidnappings and kidnapping-related killings have gotten to an intolerable level in this country now, to the extent that while one is struggling to brace up for the last incident, one is struck by yet another one. Further concerned that Ose local government, which has estimated population of 144,000 inhabitants by 2016 population census, has only 66 policemen, which gives a figure of one policeman to over 2,195 persons, which is far below the United Nations recommended ratio of one policeman to 450 people. The House hereby resolves that this House to observe 1 minute silence in honor of the first-class monarch, His Royal Majesty Oba Israel Adebuke Adeosi, the Olufon of Ifon, that this House mandates the Inspector General of Police to order an aggressive investigation into this gruesome murder with a view to providing a holistic solution to the incessant killings. That the House also mandates the Inspector General of Police to direct the Commissioner of Police in charge of the state to deploy more police personnel to the local government and other areas which are not well covered by police presence. That the House also mandates the House Committee of Works to investigate and see to the completion of the abandoned Okeluse Edo Bridge, the road linking Ayegule and Imeri Road, the rehabilitation of Ipele Ifon Road, all of this with a view to giving a tangible translation to the yearly budgetary allocation being earmarked for the completion year in, year out, and also eliminate handouts for criminals terrorizing the areas involved. That the House calls the federal government through the Federal Ministry of Works to urgently see to the completion of those identified portions of the road that hitherto remain uncompleted and have remained death traps. Mr. Speaker, I hereby move.
Comrade, allow Speaker to concentrate, please. Chairman Tashir indication and his deputy, please allow Speaker to concentrate. Somebody already raised his motion. Let Speaker concentrate, please. Please, Comrade Aminu. Thank you.
Sorry about that. Chief Whip, perhaps you come and stand here so that we can move forward. We're supposed to leave here at 2. Honorable Tiberi, are you done? Okay. I think his motion is pretty straightforward. So let's just put the question. Oh no, we need a seconder first.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My name is Honorable Muftau Egberongbe. I represent Apapa Federal Constituency. I'm from Lagos State. I hereby second the motion as moved by my colleague, Honorable Timei. I so second, sir.
Thank you. Again, because it's very straightforward, let's just put the question so we can move on. Those in support of the motion as moved, please say aye. Those against, please say nay. Ayes have it. Okay, we have part of the prayers was a minute silent. Can we please rise? The soul of the departed rest in peace. Honorable members, the first business of the day is presentation of 6 bills. I now invite the clerk to read short titles.
Honorable Speaker, honorable members, Nigeria Maritime University, Okerenkoko Establishment Bill 2020, first reading. Federal College of Education, Gewa,
Honorable Onanuga, please concentrate.
Establishment ETC Bill 2020, first reading. Federal University of Technology, Manchok Establishment Bill 2020, first reading. Federal College of Education, Mutumbiu Establishment ETC Bill 2020, first reading. Federal College of Federal Polytechnic, Aba, Abia State Establishment Bill 2020, first reading. Federal University of Education, Aguleri, Anambra State Establishment ETC Bill 2020, first reading.
Oyo State Caucus, Oyo State, Odebumi and Akin Alabi. Do you want to sit with your state assembly members? Honorable Akin Alabi, please approach the chair. Honorable, the second business of the day is presentation of report of the committees on Federal Capital Territory and Federal Capital Territory Area Councils and ancillary matters on a bill for an act to authorize the issue from the Federal Capital Territory Administration Statutory Revenue Fund of the Federal Capital Territory Administration account the total sum of 199,240,531,350 naira only, of which the sum of 620,646,865 naira only is for personnel costs, and the sum of 55,393,961,085 naira only is for overhead costs, while the balance of 80,225,923,400 naira only is for capital projects. For the service of the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja, for the financial year commencing 1st January and ending when the 2021 FCT Statutory Appropriation Act comes into effect. Standing in the name of Honorable Abdul Lai Idris Garba, honorable members will recall that the bill was referred to the committees on Wednesday, 25th November 2020. The report is now ready for presentation. I call on Honorable Garba to present the report.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, honorable colleagues. My name is Abdullah Idris Garba, member representing Kontogora, Mariga, Mushogu, Shisho of Niger State. I rise to move a motion that this House do receive report of the Committee on Federal Capital Territory on 2020 FCT Appropriation Act and repeal and enact the Bill of 2020. Honorable Speaker, I so move.
Okay. The Deputy Chairman here. No, the Honorable Blessing is not here. Please second your report.
Onyeche Unu, and I rise to second the presentation of the FCT Statutory Budget 2020. I so second.
Very good. This is how I like to see chairman and deputy operate. Those in support of the motion, please say aye. Those against, please say nay. Honorable Gaba, why are you laughing? Please lay your report. The ayes have it. Thank you. Who's raising point of order? Munir. No, you must raise it. What's your point of order? Okay. First order of the day is consolidation of 3 bills. Honorable members may wish to note that the bills are on the same subject matter. I now invite the Chairman, Committee on Rules and Business, to move that the bills be consolidated. Chairman.
The mic. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues. I am Obakar Samfulata. I represent Berniwa, Krika Sama, Guri Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, I'm from Jigawa State. Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues.
Honorable
I move.
Honorable Noli, please.
Mr. Speaker, I move for the consolidation of 3 bills as follows. A bill for an act to amend the National Agency for Food and Drugs Administration and Control Act, Chapter N1, Laws of the Federation of Nigeria, 2004, and for related matters, HB 990. A bill for an act to amend the National Agency for Food and Drug Administration and Control Act, Chapter N1, Laws of the Federation of Nigeria, 2004, to provide for payment of all monies received by the agency into the Federation account in accordance with Section 162 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, 1999, and for related matters, HB 168, and a bill for an act to amend the National Agency for Food and Drug Administration and Control Act, Chapter N1, Laws of the Federation of Nigeria, 2004, to provide for additional
Chairman Aviation, please go to your seat.
Related matters, HB 1127. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
We've had enough of you for today. Let's look for Honorable JJ.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My name is Olajide Jima. I represent Lagos Mainland, Federal Constituency, Lagos State. Having listened attentively to the Chairman of Business and Rules on the 3 bills to be consolidated, I hereby stand to second the motion as moved. Thank you.
All right, those in favor of the motion, please say aye. Those against, please say nay. Ayes have it. The Committee on Rules on Business, please schedule a date for the commencement of the debate. Second order of the day is consolidation of 5 bills. Honourable members may wish to note that the bills are on the same subject matter. I now invite the Chairman, Committee on Rules and Business, to move that the bills be consolidated. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Honorable colleagues, I am Abubakar Samfulata. I represent Berniwa, Krika Sama, Budi Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, I'm from Jigawa State. Mr. Speaker, I move for the consolidation as 5 bills as follows. A bill for an act to amend Section 2, 4, 7, 11, and 15 of the Compulsory Free Universal Basic Education Act, Chapter C54, Laws of the Federation of Nigeria, 2004, to provide for rehabilitation of delinquent children, provide a comprehensive definition for services, stakeholders, and children or wards as captured in the Enabling Act, and for related matters, HB 519. B, a bill for an act to amend the Compulsory Free Universal Basic Education Act, Chapter C54, Laws of the Federation of Nigeria, 2004, by providing a role for community-based organizations in the development of basic education in states and local government councils and for related matters, HB 552. C, a bill for an act to amend the Compulsory Free Universal Basic Education Act, Chapter C54, Laws of the Federation of Nigeria, 2004, and for related matters, HB 554. D, a bill for an act to amend the Compulsory Free Universal Basic Education Act, Chapter C5452, Laws of the Federation of Nigeria, 2004, to include senior secondary education as part of basic education in Nigeria and for related matters, HB 794. E, a bill for an act to amend the Compulsory Free Universal Basic Education Act, Chapter C54, Laws of the Federation of Nigeria, 2004, by providing a role for community-based organizations in the development of basic education in states and local government councils and for related matters, HB 666. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Munir.
Committee on House Rules. So second.
Those in support, please say aye. Those against, please say nay. Ayes have it. Chairman, please schedule for debate. Honorable colleagues, please try and exercise some patience. We have, towards the end of the sitting, we have a very small executive session that we will need to hold for important information. Thanks. Honorable colleagues, the third order of the day is consolidation. Another consolidation, considering of 2 bills. Honorable members may want to know that the bills are on the same subject matter, and now invite the Chairman, Committee on Rules and Business, to move that the bills be consolidated.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues. I am Obakar Flata. I represent Berniwa, Greek Asama, Greek Federal Constituency, Mr. Speaker. I'm from Jigawa State. Mr. Speaker, honorable
Yes,
colleagues,
Honorable Chinda. Sorry.
I move for the consolidation of two bills into one as follows. One, a bill for an act to repeal the Explosive Act, Chapter E18, Laws of the Federation of Nigeria, 2004, and enact an explosive bill to make comprehensive provisions for the use and control of explosives in Nigeria and for related matters, HB 369. Two, a bill for an act to amend the Explosive Act, Chapter E18, Laws of the Federation of Nigeria, 2004, to review upwards the fines imposed for offenses against regulations made under the Act and for related matters, HB 822. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Any seconder? Honorable Maki.
Mr. Speaker, my honorable colleagues, I am Abubakar Maki Eleman. I'm from Jigawa State. I represent Malamodori Kaugama Federal Constituency. I stand to second the motion heavily moved by the Chairman, Business Arul. I so second. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Those in support, please say aye. Those against, please say nay. Ayes have it. Chairman, please list for schedule for debate. Fourth order of the day is commencement of debate on the general principles of a bill for an act to establish the Nigerian Army University Bill to make comprehensive provisions for its management and administration and for related matters, standing in the name of the House Leader. Honourable members will recall that the bill was transmitted from the Senate, seeking concurrence of the House, and read the first time on Tuesday, 20th of October 2020. I now invite the Leader to move that the bill be now read a second time. Leader.
Right Honorable Speaker, Alasan Ado Dogwa is my name. Mr. Speaker, I represent the good people of Dogwa, Kidumwada Federal Constituency. Honorable members, I'm from Kano State. Your Excellency, the Honorable Speaker, honorable members, I rise to move that a bill for an act to establish the Nigeria Army University Bill to make comprehensive provisions for its management and administration for related matters, HB 1100, Senate. Your Excellency, I so move. Thank you.
Can we have a seconder to that? You want to second the Leader's bill? Go ahead, please. Your mic. Is your mic not working? The mics are not working.
Mr. Speaker, honorable members.
No. Not you, Honorable Yusuf. You might have to come forward. It's a Lado.
Thank you, my Speaker. My name is Honorable Lado Sleja, and I'm representing the good people of Niger State, Suleja Gurara Tafa Federal Constituency in particular, Mr. Speaker. I stand to second the motion as moved by my senior colleague and also my father, the Leader of the House. I so second. Thank you.
You called him your what? The the House Leader, your father. The House Leader has 27 children. I don't think he needs any more. I think he needs any more children at this point. Leader, please lead the debate.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker, honorable members. Your Excellency, like I've said, this is a bill for an act to establish the Nigeria Army University, BU, to make comprehensive provision of its management, administration, and for related matters, as discussed and passed by the Senate. Your Excellency, Mr. Speaker, honorable members, this is like a straightforward bill. It is a bill to establish an Army Academy in the name of a university. And when you have that need, obviously you need a legislation from this honorable chamber. The National Assembly, comprising of the Senate and the House of Representatives. This bill emanated from the Senate. It was discussed and considered at all levels of legislative consideration. It is passed to this honorable House, Mr. Speaker, for our gracious consideration to concur with the Senate so that this bill will be passed, and when passed, this desirous academic institution for the Nigerian Army will be established. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, I would like to make an additional point to what I have said now, that establishing the university in a zone like the Northeast zone, which of course every one of us know is ravaged by the pandemic, the serious pandemic of Boko Haram, militancy, kidnappings. I believe establishing an institution of this nature will do a lot of good for the people of the northeastern part of this country. It will do a lot of good for the people of the north central, do a lot of good for the people of virtually every zone of the Federation. But I believe this location, the choice of its location in the northeast, is a very good and wonderful
Honorable
one.
Mali,
And on this note, Mr.
Honorable
Speaker,
Lado,
honorable
please
members,
can you have your seat?
it is my wish that honorable members will give this bill an expeditious passage so that we can be able to achieve the establishment of this important institution for the service and the overall interest of the people of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Mr. Speaker, I thank you. Honorable members, I thank you as you pass this bill for the second reading. Thank you. God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
Is there anybody that wants to speak against this? Against Honorable Abanta? Against an army university? Go ahead. Where's Mohammed? Is it there? Yeah, we are having issues here. Sorry, I think I hit a button by mistake.
Honorable Lado, you're just coming from. Honorable Lado, please.
The chief whip is calling you.
Please.
Sorry, Honorable Abanta, 1 minute. We're having issues with this thing.
Yeah. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I remain Uzoma Nkem Abonta from Abia State. Mr. Speaker, with a heavy heart but total submission to legislative duties, I want to say no to this bill. Though I have not seen any compendium apart from what powerful leader railed out in support of this bill from the Senate. Mr. Speaker, for once, let us do a realistic programming and projecting, Mr. Speaker. This bill is asking to establish a military university. Ordinarily, nothing wrong with it. A bill should seek to cure a defect, to perfect. Mr. Speaker, Nigerian Defense Academy, I don't know, a degree awarding military institution. Mr. Speaker, Command and Staff College, Jaji, what do they do? It's like masters after NDA. There's no vacuum this thing seems to create, to fill. We're talking of our lean pulse resources. Mr. Speaker, let's do projects, programs, schools that bring out of this quagmire economically and otherwise. I'm not saying security is not important. Is ND enoughly utilized? Nigerian Defense Academy. Upgrade it if you need be, if you must add the name university. Command and Staff College, Jaji. What do they do? Have you seen their curriculum? They operate like universities. It's a matter of name, nomenclature. And we're now seeking to create another third institution, university. Mr. Speaker, we've not even funded, are they out of strike? The Nigerian university, whatever. And they also, why are we creating duplicity in the paucity of funds? I'm of the view, and I want to convince my colleagues that this is not the time for this now. We have Defense Academy, that was degree, they do all the military training. We no longer go to Sandhurst and all water to train military. We are here. Why creative? This is not urgent. This is not needed now. Perhaps in the next 10 years, if we are cruising, we are like a plane now struggling with turbulence. Why add additional load? Let us not be sentimental or political about this. Let us be realistic and put things. Mr. Speaker, we need more polytechnics, technical schools. We can upgrade NDA if it need be. We can upgrade Jaji if it need be. But sitting down here now to craft another University of Military or University of Army to vote fund again, we should even have more agricultural programs, institutions. People are hungry, people are angry. Let us not do one another. On that note, please, let us not support this. Let us say no to this for now. It's in the next 10, 20 years. Thank you.
Okay, let's finish with this row actually. Let's finish and then we'll move gradually. Honorable Chinda.
I represent Obiakpo Federal Constituency. I'm an Ikwere man from Rivers State. Mr. Speaker, I most humbly rise to lend my support to opposition to this bill. Not because there is no need to train our soldiers, no. It is also not because our soldiers are well trained and good enough, no. But because of the times. Now, the fundamental question which my colleague raised, for every bill, there must be a lacuna you are looking at which you want to fill. Is it for want of institutions that our soldiers are not well trained? If the answer is yes, then we can go ahead and create institutions. But what about the existing institutions? How well are they funded? What is the strength that we get from NDA and Jaji? As we continue to create more institutions, as we continue to create more agencies of government, you and I know that the fund is not there to run them. Can we actually run this Nigerian Army University properly? That's the question we should ask ourselves. And speaking to the issue raised by the House leader, that the Northeast, because of the times, will require this university. Let me say that whatever that is happening to the Northeast now is temporary. By the special grace of God, this country will tackle that problem. And so, establishing a university is not a temporary project. It's not one that should be done to tackle a temporary problem. Because when we get out of the security issues in the Northeast, what will happen to the university? So let us be a little bit more pragmatic in looking at these issues. By the time we establish Army University, the House should also be ready to establish Navy University. The House should be ready to establish Air Force University. Civil defense will come with theirs. We already have the Nigerian Defense Academy. Please let us strengthen that academy. If there are courses that we think we require, let those courses be included in that academy, and let proper funding of that academy be our priority, not to continue to duplicate institutions which will run additional costs on the government. Thank you, sir. Honorable Kalambari, go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, my dear colleagues. Honorable Ahmad Abdullahi Kalambaina is my name, and I represent Kwari Wamako Federal Constituency of Sokoto State. Mr. Speaker, my dear colleagues, my stand on this issue that has to do with the establishment of Nigerian Army University in view was not in support of the as proposed by the leader. Mr. Speaker, I have my reasons. Currently, our universities are underfunded. If you go to our universities, a single lecturer is handling about 200 students. The issue of establishing more universities in Nigeria, Mr. Speaker, my dear colleagues, does not arise. What we need is to fund more of these universities we have and to increase the manpower of our current universities. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues. My name is Honorable Fatu Muhammad, member from Kasina representing Daura, Sandemoame Adwa. My honorable colleagues, I think we should read in between the lines of this bill. We are having problems right away with the ASU per se. To my own view, I think it's high time we privatize the universities and concentrate more on polytechnics. Thank you very much.
Honorable Fatu, I missed that. Can you repeat your submission?
Fatu Muhammad, sir, from Kasina representing Daura. My view on this issue is that we are having so much problem with ASU for now. Lingering issues. I'm lucky I was paired with a very experienced chairman on tertiary institutions. We know what's going on. The best way out, I think we should keep about the universities issue. Rather, we should privatize them. Concentrate on polytechnics. That's my take, sir. That's my take. Thank you.
So we'll go to this side. Aliu.
Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, I'm Ibrahim Al-Mustafa Aliu, member representing Wurundara. I'm from Sokoto State. Mr. Speaker, I am conscious of the fact that, yes, the educational sector is facing challenges here and there. But of course, honorable colleagues can bear witness that in this chamber, there are a lot of motions and even bills that seek to further work toward enriching the security system. And I think establishing this university is one of the options. The Nigerian Army University view, I think, is not meant for the Army personnel only, but even those citizens that may wish to further their education can take advantage of the university to do so. And more so, the Nigerian Defense Academy and the Jaji staff and whatever college in Jaji are meant for the officers of the Nigerian Army or the officers of the defense generally, including Navy, the Nigerian Army, and the Air Force. But this university, particularly, I think will provide an enabling environment and opportunity for even the men of the Nigerian Army that wish to further their education. There is no confinement as maybe as your entry point is an officer, you will not progress. This will provide that opportunity for the men to further their education and be commissioned as officers of the Nigerian Army. Secondly, it will also provide the necessary opportunity we are looking for in further deepening the security knowledge around the area and the security presence around Biu, particularly, or Borno State, particularly, or Northeast by extension. So with this, Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, I think we can look into this and pass and consider the establishment of this university by passing this bill as soon as possible. Thank you so very much.
Honorable Munir.
Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, my name is Munir Babadan Agundi. I represent Kumbodo Federal Constituency of Kano State. Mr. Speaker, my understanding of this bill, from even what I have known, what I have seen, this university has already been in place, and a lot of money has been sunk into the infrastructure in this place. And I understand the concern of my colleagues from some other part of the country. Mr. Speaker, I want to say I really concur with their concern. And for fairness, I think it is important that the other services of the armed forces, like the Navy and the Air Force, should also be given an opportunity to establish similar institutions in other parts of the country, like the southern part of the country, the Navy and the Air Force, so that we can have some fairness and equity to all parts of the country. And for now, I will urge them to support this bill. As I said, already a lot of money has been invested in the university. But for fairness, let us look at the Navy and Air Force to take care of other universities that will come up even from next year, Mr. Speaker, so that we'll make sure that our armed forces are well established in all the services. Thank you very much.
Honorable Jaha.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Ahmed Jaha Babao is my name. I represent Chibok Dambua Goza Federal Constituency. Honorable colleagues, honorable members, I want to shed some light about the location of the university and the importance of citing that particular university in that area. In Borno, we have one federal institution of learning, which is University of Maiduguri. And as it used to be, Borno used to be the capital of the defunct Northeast sub-region. In 2018, JAM approved less than 9,000 slots of admission to University of Maiduguri. More than 22,000 students applied. In 2019, JAM approved 9,500 units of admission. More than 26,000 students applied. This State Army University is located in Borno South Senatorial District with 9 local governments and with nothing less than 2 to 2.5 million population. As you are aware, as a result of Boko Haram insurgents, in Borno we recorded orphans more than 50,000, widows more than 50,000 as orphaned and widowed by Boko Haram insurgents. And one of the cardinal principles of Boko Haram is to discourage Western education. And we want to show to them and prove to them that we are not only maintaining the state of Western education we have, but we are trying to improve in order to prove them wrong with their philosophy of going against Western education. Secondly, we want to plead with you. This area where this university is going to be sited is the area that is relatively peaceful, where even people from the displaced communities may wish to go and have their studies there. So please, I am particularly pleading to our honorable colleagues to consider us. We are in a serious problem in this country. Please and please, I repeat the word please, to assist us so that at the end of the day, this bill will see the light of the day and be carried. Please, thank you.
Thank you. I think Honorable Jaha's point is basically the ratio of university to students and to the population. Honorable Michela.
Thank you, Your Excellency. I remain Honorable Dr. Haruna Michelia. I represent all the people of Askra Bahawul Federal Constituency of Borno State, Southern Borno. Your Excellency, I think one of the greatest achievements of this government is the establishment of the Army University Bill. If you look at most of our senior officers, Your Excellency, and you check their credentials, you'll find that they have done courses in India, in UK, in US, and so on. With the coming of the Army University Bill, apart from adding to the educational development of the country, the most significant security forces, that is the army, are well taken care of. And can I say to honorable members that this university is already in existence. It has established, they have, my colleagues, we all know that there are institutes that have been established and then later on the bill is brought. Please, we need your understanding. And it is located in the hometown of our chairman appropriation. Please, we are pleading that this university, Noli, why now? Okay. Your Excellency, I'm just pleading that for the development of our armed forces, this university is critical. And I plead for our colleagues to support us. Thank you, Your Excellency.
The last row, comrade.
Honorable Speaker, honorable colleagues, I am from Kano State, and my name is Comrade Aminu Suleiman. I represent Page Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, I am particularly happy that Honorable Obonta brought this conversation to the fore. And I will be grateful if I have the ears of my colleagues. For what reason? Virtually everybody in this chamber have one request for tertiary education establishment. And sir, as I speak to you, we have over 90 reparers, 90 reparers within the lifespan of the 9th Assembly. And officially, I have had cause to discuss with you and a small memo to the leadership on the need for us to sit down critically and look at this thing. What we are passing was not a motion, Honorable Speaker, but a bill. And from the bottom of our heart, most of us know the near impossibility of effecting this resolution. 95 reparers, and we are still counting. Even this morning, we are considering about 6, 7. Incidentally, Obonta that raised objection, he too have emotion, asking for the establishment of the same institution. Now, I don't know how we are going to approach this, because it is a fundamental right of members to move such a bill. And I have also come to agree with your own limitations too, because you can't stop members from applying to have an institution in their place. We needed to sit down and see how we can go about it. But talking about the Army University, sir, it is not mainly for the military or uniform men. It started in 2016-17, and as I speak to you, they have close to 5,000 students, of which there is less than 1,000 military men. They are all civilian. And
Sorry, say that again. The university already has 5,000 students.
Yes, because they are already into the 300 level now. It started in 2016.
Chairman Ad hoc Committee COVID-19, please go back to your seat. Honorable Michelia. Honorable Michelia.
Honorable Michela. Honorable Michela.
So it is in its third year of academic activity, and two-thirds of
Okay, Honorable Michela, you were lobbying. Okay. He's doing legislative work. Lobbying is part of legislative work.
Yes, sir. So like I was saying, two-thirds are civilian. They are not actually military. And these are some of the issues we also have to tax ourselves. Institutions are created through executive fiat. Then later, we are asked to come and legalize. Most of the institutions that are created in these past 4 years were without legislative input. A permanent secretary can influence a university in his place, and the speaker may not be able to do that. So I don't know, this thing we have to sit down and ask ourselves. They will sit down in the ministry, create institution, and they will now ask us to come and make a legislation legalizing the existence. So sir, I want to appeal to our people. The military school is already on. I don't see what magic we will do now to truncate the continued existence of the institution. But we need to sit down and for leadership to give us direction and directives on how we are going to resolve this matter. But
Okay, thank you.
our people to allow this thing to pass.
Okay, thank you very much. Point of order? What's your point of order?
The presentation of bills on our rules says
what's the point of order? What page?
I'm trying to get it from my report. Presentation of bills.
Huh?
Presentation of bills. I'm trying to get to it.
Yeah, what page? Please just direct us to the order.
I can't find the page, but I'm not trying to waste that time.
No. You have to. The rule says you when you raise the point of order, you tell us which point of order, so that everybody else can follow.
Order 12, presentation of bills. I'm trying to get
Order
12, presentation of bills. I'm trying to do that specifically because I'm using what is before me, and it's epileptic. So his presentation of bills, said compendium of the bill to be done. I'm now hearing that the school is even ongoing. Who funded it? Who approved it? He said it's at the third level. So if he had presented some documents, that would have given us a compendium to know what to argue. But as we speak now, we don't even know the status of the school. We are being informed right now that the school is ongoing at the third year. So who funded it? It calls for budgeting. How did they fund it? What's the budget? So we are now not known what we are doing. We need to know the compendium, the status, and all whatnot. We are being confronted right now that the school is even built. Who built, Mr. Speaker? Did you budget for it and all whatnot? That's my point. So I'm suggesting that we step it down to have the compendium and to know exactly, so we can do the needful. That's what I'm suggesting.
I agree with you on the point of order of compendium of bills. And I think we need to, Chairman of Business and Rules is not here. And he needs to take note of, Chairman, I know our rules do talk about compendium of bills to allow us understand what it involves. But I don't think at this point we should step down this bill, because I have sat here with several bills on polytechnics, on universities, of technological colleges. Not once will we raise or ask for compendium of bills. We more or less, in silence, suspended that portion of the rules. Not that it should continue. Not that it should continue. So I don't want us to pick and choose when we ask for compendium and we don't ask for compendium. Your point of order is noted. It's in order. But for the sake of this bill, let us, moving forward, note the point of order that we require compendium of bills. We'll take Honorable Gimba, and then Chairman Ami, okay, Honorable Bago, and then we'll put the question. Honorable Bago, Honorable Bago first, then Honorable Gimba, and then Chairman Ami. So Honorable Bago, go ahead. Oh, no. No, it's you. No. Honorable Gimba, sorry. Go ahead.
Your Excellency, Mr. Speaker, Honorable Dr. Zainab Gimba, I represent Bamangala Kalabalge. Mr. Speaker, I'm from Borno State. Mr. Speaker, I wish to strongly support the establishment of the Army University in Biu for many reasons. Among others, one, Mr. Speaker, we have to look at the fact that illiteracy, between illiteracy and poverty. And equally, the relationship between poverty and unemployment, and as well, we have to look at the effect of unemployment on the society. One of the reasons that brought about most of these things in the Northeast, for instance, now is illiteracy and poverty. And Mr. Speaker, let me just remind this Honorable House about the essence of education in the Northeast, especially in Borno State for now. In Borno State, as earlier stated by other speakers, we have only one federal university. Only one university, not even federal. The recent one was established by the Borno State government, which is not even, it has not even started well. And the Army University is one that has supplemented the University of Maiduguri. Mr. Speaker,
Honorable Manur, please.
Mr. Speaker, the Army has their research and development unit. This university has been established. I was there when at the inauguration of this university. It has been clearly stated that as a result of the research, they found out that this is one more reason that may bring some solutions to the recent problem we have. The university is not meant mainly for the Army. The Borno community are participating in the university. And Mr. Speaker, in Borno State today,
Honorable Bonta, go back to your seat, please.
Last year we have
go back to your seat.
We have more than 10,000 students that applied for the UME in the University of Maiduguri. They may equally apply in other universities in the country, but Your Excellency, you could see that due to the economy situation in the state, not every parent can send his child or ward to other universities in other states due to the expenses that may come along with schooling outside the state. And another issue is, Your Excellency, this university has already been established. The state government has given enough land for the establishment, has also contributed immensely with even the little resources they have. And honorable members, it is important that we should be very pragmatic in our leadership. We should be selfless, we should be considerate, and we should not be sentimental. And just look at in Nigeria, how many universities we have. We have over 200 or 300. I don't have the real figures. And we have only one in Maiduguri. And now the second one in Borno State. And now the second one in Borno State. Honorable members, some members are trying to truncate that university. I don't think it is a good leadership. We have to look at it. We have to be selfish. We have to look at the reasons, the objectives of this university and support it. Because I'm sure nobody is happy. Nobody is happy with what is happening in the Northeast or in Borno State today. And if all these people all these boys that are in Boko Haram, they are educated to the university level, I don't think any one of them can be in Boko Haram. So, Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, I appeal to this House to look at the situation in Borno and then support this establishment of the university for the benefit of our children. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Honorable the Chairman Army, and then we close the debate.
Yeah, Honorable Speaker, honorable colleagues, my name is Abdurazak Saad Namdas. I have been given the floor, Mr. Chairman.
What's your point of order, Honorable Bago? I recognize you to. Okay, that was about 15 minutes ago. And I changed my mind in order of sequencing. So I have now recognized the Chairman Army, who has already started his contribution. and then we'll take you after him.
Honorable Speaker, honorable colleagues, my name is Abdurazak Saad Namdas. I represent the people of Ganye, Jada, Tongoma, Ebelwa. I am from Adamawa State. Mr. Speaker, I want to also speak on this very important bill. I want to support the bill. I want to clearly state, Mr. Speaker, I share some of the emotions here, but let me also appeal to my colleagues that there's a difference between NDA as an institution, Command and Staff College Jaji as an institution, and University of Biu. Nigeria Defense Academy, Mr. Speaker, is meant for professional and personnel of the army.
Okay, this is very important, please. Even I didn't know this. This is very important. You are saying that there's a difference between NDA and the university.
Yes, sir.
What is the difference?
The NDA, sir, civilians would not be there. It's strictly the personnel of the army. When you get to NDA, or you are in the army, or also in the Navy, and they graduate, it's 5 years program, the whole degree programs. But Mr. Speaker, they do serious training in the armed forces, which includes all the physical training which is not obtainable in the conventional universities. In the staff, Command and Staff College Judge, Mr. Speaker, it is meant for officers who go for training to staff and to Command and Staff College Judge. Now, in Army Universities Bill, it's made up of both civilians and Army personnel. Mr. Speaker, before now, a lot of Army personnel will go out of the country for training. They still go. But with the opportunity of having an Army University, most of them go to the Army University right here in Biu rather than going out. Mr. Speaker, you know what happened? When we had COVID-19, we couldn't go out. Some of us have to go back to some of the medical institutions within Nigeria. We couldn't go out. Now, you can see it is very important that we have the Army University, which is already in existence. We are looking for a legal backing. And Mr. Speaker, I appeal to my colleagues to understand that it is important for this university to go because training is very key to the growth of any security agency. In fact, Mr. Speaker, today, if you are not well trained as a security agency, either army, civil defense, police, and whatever, we will be having issues. We know that the army, by its duty, is supposed to strictly contain the territorial integrity of the country, either by air, or by sea, or by land. But, Mr. Speaker, because Section 27, subsection 2 of the Constitution allow the President to invite the army when there are internal security issues, just as we have. Today, the internal security matter is so much that we need our army officers and personnel to be trained and be updated. We are talking of having technology. You cannot have just technology without having the people being trained to handle this technology. So I appeal to my colleagues that they should allow this Army University, this particular bill to pass, because, sir, today, only on today's order paper, sir, we have 6 bills that seeks to establish either a university or a polytechnic or a college of education just today, just not to mention the one that has passed. So I therefore want to appeal to my colleagues that they should please understand with us. I can tell you very soon you will still have a police university is on the offing coming, Air Force University is on the offing coming here. So it's not about the number, and we have 200 million Nigerians, and the people that are seeking admission to even university, not all of them get admitted. Not all of them get admitted all the time. So, Mr. Speaker, this is why I feel that there is need for me to make this clarification. And on a final note, Mr. Speaker, when this country deregulate university, at the time people feel that we should not open the university, bring private university. There were people at that stage that were opposed to it, thinking that it will not be in the interest of Nigeria. But today, we have a lot of private universities and are even salvaging the situation vis-a-vis what we're having in the government. So at this point, if we have this institution and the institution is very viable, we should support it. And I therefore want to appeal to my colleagues to listen to this and see that this university is really established. I thank you.
Honorable Bagol.
Honorable colleagues, I remain Mohammed Umaru Baugu. I represent the people of Chanchaga Federal Constituency. I'm from Niger State. Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, I'm standing here today to first appeal to the conscience of our colleagues on this very important matter, the need for us to have into law the Army University in view. However, when people talk about issue of establishment, in the last 10 years in this hollow chambers, we have seen universities which sprang up without gazetting or legislation, and later we corrected them. I don't think it's an abnormal. So I just don't want us to belabor issues in the spirit of brotherhood and in the spirit of building a consensus for the nation. I think it is okay for us to please support the establishment of this university. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Mr. Speaker. Speaker, sir.
I think before we round up, let me just give the House Leader an opportunity to either clarify or of a bill.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. I thank honorable members. Mr. Speaker, I rise perhaps on the note of the right of reply as mover for passage to second reading this bill that has come from the Senate. Your Excellency, the Honorable Speaker, honorable colleagues, I believe we have gotten an opportunity by the foregoing discourse about this, the foregoing debate about this bill. I would like to believe that on commencement of debate of this bill, Mr. Speaker and honorable members, a lot of us have gotten further educated. Even myself, as mover of the motion, mover of the consideration of this bill to second reading, Mr. Speaker, I have gotten a lot of information, a lot of useful insights. Your Excellency, I want to believe the disposition of the House has naturally changed. The intervention of Honorable Jaha, who has come from the point of sympathy, from the point of the kind of circumstances the northeastern part of the country has found itself. The appeals he has made here continuously, and the appeal from other members from the northeastern zone, Mr. Speaker. And the fact that this is even an army university. Mr. Speaker, I wouldn't mind to say, on the first mention of the bill, I thought it was like a military university. We have been educated just now that this is named an army university, but a greater extent of enrollment into this university will even be civilian applicants and civilian students. And on the strength, of course, of the fact that we have only one federal university in the whole of Borno State, where you have a lot of these kind of calamities as a result of Boko Haram. Your Excellency, I only want to plead once again that members should allow this bill to go. And going forward, some of these issues that were raised, for instance, the Chairman House Committee on on tertiary education. Your Excellency, the Speaker has just made it known. This is a university that has already been in existence. Funds and resources were already injected into the process. There are facilities, infrastructure already. Enrollments have been made, which of course is out of order. You cannot have an institution of this nature without a legislation. And he has said also clearly, so many other institutions across the Federation have been established under this faulty arrangement. So the fact remains that looking forward, Mr. Speaker, where we'll allow the bill to go, that we must have to we have to stand on our feet to make sure that the right things are being done as far as legislations are concerned. This bill cannot be an exception. The establishment of this university should not be given a special consideration on the other way around. Let's allow the bill to go, while the House will now continue to do the needful, Mr. Speaker, honorable members, and be doing the right thing at all times. Perhaps, as leader of this House, I will have a cause to engage with the leader of the Senate as well. My responsibility here, why I'm trying to still defend the bill to go, is also on the strength or on the need for our mutual understanding. The bicameral coexistence of the National Assembly. When we have a bill coming from the House, for instance, going to the Senate, I believe the leader of the House will get up on the floor there to defend it as a bill coming from a sister chamber. the House of Representatives. And on that note, and for us not to undermine that kind of mutual coexistence between the bicameral legislature we have between the two chambers of the National Assembly, I would like to once again plead to members to please allow this bill go, and now going forward we'll look at other things to make sure that we are doing the right thing at the right time. I thank you once again for giving me this opportunity, and I thank honorable members for allowing, please, in anticipation, that this bill be read the second time. Thank you, and God bless you.
So we've had a very lively debate on this issue, so I'll just put the question. Those in support that the bill be read a second time, please say aye. Those against, please say nay. I'm so glad that the work of debating has worked, and even those who oppose the debate for very good reasons have been persuaded. This is what it's all about. So the ayes have it. Clark.
Honorable Speaker, honorable members, a bill for an act to establish the Nigeria Army University, PU, to make comprehensive provisions for its management and administration and for related matters. Second reading.
Bill referred to Committee of the Whole. Fifth order of the day is commencement of debate on the general principles of a bill for an act to repeal the treaties making procedure, Act Cap T20, Laws of the Federation of Nigeria,
Honorable Mansur Soro, come back. Honorable Mansur Soro.
And enact treaties making procedure Bill 2020 and for related matters, standing in the name of Honorable Osai, Nicholas Osai. Honorable members will recall that the bill was read the first time on Tuesday, 21st July 2020. I now invite Honorable Osai to move that the bill be read the second time.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Distinguished honorable colleagues, I remain Honorable Osai, Nicholas Osai. I represent the Kwani Federal Constituency of Delta State, Mr. Speaker. I move that a bill for an act to repeal treaties making procedure Act Cap T20, Laws of the Federation of Nigeria 2004, and enact treaty making procedure Bill 2020 and for related matters, HB 1012, be read a second time. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Ja.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues. I'm Jaha Babao, as usual. I represent Chibok Dambo Goza Federal Constituency. I'm from Borno State. I rise to second the motion moved by Honorable Osai, Nicholas Osai, that the bill be read the second time. So I second. Thank you.
Honorable Osai, please lead the debate. It's 1 minute.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, distinguished honorable colleagues. I remain Honorable Osai, Nicholas Osai. I represent Doko Kwani Federal Constituency of Delta State, and I thank you for this opportunity for the entire House to look into these issues that the Constitution has conferred power in Section 12 of the Constitution of Federal Republic of Nigeria. Mr. Speaker, it is a known fact that in 1993, specifically January 21st, that a decree came into being in Nigeria, decree number 16, establishing Treaty Making Procedure Act, which is the Act of National Assembly. Mr. Speaker, it's also a known fact that this bill is completely in conflict with the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, most especially when you look at Section 3 and subsection 1, subsection 2B of the Treaty Making Procedure Act. They all run contrary to the Section 12, subsection 1, section 2, and 3 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Mr. Speaker, it is a big lacuna that this bill tends to cure. That is why the entire committee, made up of 16 members of my committee, decided that there's need to strengthen the process. You will recall, Mr. Speaker, distinguished honorable colleagues, that even the issues raised by my honorable colleague Benny Baka addresses the issues of communications, of bills, of agreements agreed by the federal government, which is the executive, to be transmitted to the National Assembly. Mr. Speaker, because there's a lacuna, and most of the subsidiary laws that the executive makes today is in contradiction of this Section 12 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. And this bill, the new innovations has come into this bill, Mr. Speaker, in addressing most of these lacuna issues that has existed because of this law. Today, executive go ahead to address issue of agreement that has a component of concurrent and exclusive list without even interaction with the National Assembly. It is on this ground, Mr. Speaker, I urge my honorable colleagues, as I've already urged myself, to pass this bill with the speed of light.
What are you carrying? What are you carrying? You are carrying Osai. Osai is the one person that opposes everybody's bill in this house. And you want to carry his bill just like that? Honorable Abonta, you want to speak against? Aha. Honorable Osai, go ahead. Honorable Abonta, go ahead. I want Osai to feel the heat.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I remain Uzoma Nkem Abonta, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I've looked at the compendium. I've also seen the attached bill the author is seeking to repeal. He's in total conformity with our rules. Mr. Speaker, he had pointed out the lacuna he's seeking to. My use of opportunity to tell Mr. Speaker that rules are meant to guide us, to help us. I want to thank him for letting us know what we should do. Study, if you go to the compendium, you are not in doubt what he's seeking to do. If you look at this, the law he seeks to repeal, you'll understand where he's coming from. We are using military rules. In fact, even he talked about constitution. I'm able to say that the constitution is also military. It's not democratic. If you look at the constitution, he says, the Supreme Military Council hereby put on us, not us. Therefore, I support that.
Oh, so you are supporting this bill?
With the speed of light.
I'm very disappointed.
Thank you.
I'm very disappointed. That's not what you said. Okay. Anybody speaking against? Those in support that the bill be read a second time, please say aye. Those against, please say nay. Nay. Ayes have it. Yes, Clark.
Honorable Speaker, honorable members, a bill for an act to repeal treaties making procedure ETC Act, Cap T20, Laws of the Federation of Nigeria 2004, and the enact treaties making procedure bill 2020, and for related matters, second reading.
Thank you. Bill is referred to the Committee on Treaties and Protocols. The sixth order of the day is commencement of debate of the general principles of a bill for an act to provide for the establishment of the National Institute for Police Studies, to provide for administration and management of the institute and determining the standards and knowledge and skills to be acquired by the personnel of the institute, and for related matters, standing in the name of Honorable Yusuf Adamu Gagdi. Honorable members will recall that the bill was read the first time on Tuesday, 29 September 2020, I now invite the Honorable Gagdi to move that the bill be read a second time. Honorable Gagdi.
My name is Yusuf Adamu Gagdi. I represent Panshinkanke Kanam Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, I'm from Plateau State. I rise, Mr. Speaker, to move that a bill for an act to provide for the establishment of the National Institute for Police Studies.
Honorable Jega, go back to your seat. Honorable Jega, go back to your seat, please.
To provide for administration and management of institute and determining the standard of knowledge and skill to be acquired by the personnel of the institute and other related matter. Be read for second time. Mr. Speaker, I so move.
Honorable Abejide. Your mic.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Honorable Leke Abejide is my name.
Jega.
I represent the good people of Yagba Federal Constituency. I'm from Kogi State. I rise to support the motion as moved by Honorable Gaji for the bill to be read the second time. I so second.
Okay, Honorable Gagdi, you lead the debate. Honorable colleagues, we have a small executive session. Honorable Dati. Honorable Dati, we have an executive session. We have an executive session, and it's important, I think we all stay behind. Go ahead.
Mr. Speaker, honorable members, once again, I am Yusuf Adamu Gagdi. I represent Panshinkanke Kanam Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, this bill that seeks to establish the National Institute of Police Studies is having a lot of relationship with the agenda of the 9th House of Representatives. Mr. Speaker, you will agree with me that you have been championing the cause of police reform in Nigeria. And one of the major problems that confront this country as a result of the NSAS, a lot of the people complain about training and retraining in the Nigerian police force. And that is why, Mr. Speaker, being part of the reform championed by your House, the bill seeks to establish the National Institute of Police Studies charged with the responsibility of training the nature and produce global competitive police officers in Nigeria that will be quite aware of the rules of engagement regarding to how to engage the people of this country. Mr. Speaker, the objective of the bill is to contribute uniquely and viably to the promotion of inter-service, interagency and international cooperation, collaboration and harmony among intelligence, security and laws enforcement agencies locally and globally. Mr. Speaker, the National Institute for Police Studies is in existence, but the problem is that international community doesn't want to come to Nigeria to train our police personnel, simply because there is no legal framework that seems to have established the Police Institute. So, Mr. Speaker, we know what we want and we know how we want our police to operate. And that is why I crave the indulgence of my colleagues to see the importance of reforming the Nigerian police. It's one thing to reform the Police Act. It is another thing to have institutions that put together knowledge to our own police to function effectively in such a manner that it will help the Nigerian people. I beg my honorable colleague to assist, and particularly you, Mr. Speaker, while believing that it is very straightforward piece of legislation. It is my sincere hope that my colleague will always add value to this. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
So this is part of the police reform agenda. Those in support of that the bill be read a second time, please say aye. Those against, please say nay. Ayes have it. Clerk, please read the long title. Gagdi, what is were you in the police? Because I remember the Police Reform Act was initiated by you as well. The amendment, the Police Reform Act. What's your... You are Chairman Navy. Have you brought anything to do with the Naval Institute? It's okay.
It's in thought, just like that of you.
Okay.
So it's in the first.
Well done.
place.
Long title, clerk.
Honorable Speaker, honorable members, a bill for an act to provide for establishment of the National Institute for Police Studies, to provide for administration and management of the institute, and determining the standard of knowledge and skills to be acquired by personnel of the institute and for related matters. Second reading.
Thank you. Bill referred to the Committee on Police Affairs. Seventh order of the day is a motion on the need to address the porosity of Nigeria's borders. Standing in the name of Honorable Babatunde Humpe, Honorable Humpe is invited to move the motion.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'm Honorable Babatunde Humpe, representing all the people of Badagry Federal Constituency. I'm from Lagos State. Surely, Mr. Speaker, I humbly invite the House to note the large international boundaries under Nigeria watch, and that due to insufficient resources and manpower, the borders have not been adequately secured, which has great implications on the economy, security, and social development of the country. Concern that the porous nature of the borders has precipitated several crimes which pose serious threats to the national security and are causing hardship because it leads to illegal roadblocks and checkpoints being mounted in and around border communities. Also concerned that qualification of arms, illegal immigration, and smuggling of expired goods into the country are as a result of the porosity of Nigeria's border, which also make it easy for terrorists to carry out their activities, especially in border states like Lagos, Sokoto, Katsina, Jigawa, Yobe, Adamawa, among others. Also worry that the volatile situation in the country's border has greatly hampered the effort of the government towards ending insurgents, as terrorists have continued to carry out their attacks unabated. Resolve to urge the Nigeria Customs Service and the Nigeria Immigration Service to liaise with relevant security agencies to expand their coverage of the country's borders. Secondly, to constitute an ad hoc committee to organize a security summit that will involve all militaries and paramilitary agencies, as well as indigenous or border communities, with a view to finding lasting solutions to the socio-economic and security challenges posed by the porosity of Nigeria border. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. My dear honorable colleagues, I am Honorable Suleiman Samaila. I do represent the very good people of Kaduna North, Federal Constituency of Kaduna State. I rise to second the motion ably moved by Honorable Babatunde Humpe. I so second. Thank you.
I think this is straightforward. There's no need to debate on this. Let's just put the question. Those in support, please say aye. Those against, please say nay. Ayes have it. Is Honorable David Zacharias here? Eighth order of the day is a motion on need to construct the road from Ibaji in Kogi State to Anambra State. Standing in the name of Honorable David Idris Zacharias. Honorable Zacharias is invited to move the motion. Yeah, David, go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, respected colleagues, Honorable David Idris Zakaria is my name. I represent the good people of the Ida Federal Constituency, the center of Igala Kingdom. Mr. Speaker, I'm from Kogi State. Mr. Speaker, distinguished colleagues, needs to construct the road from Ibaji in Kogi State to Anambra State. House knows that Ibaji is a local government area in the eastern part of Kogi State with its headquarters in Onyedega. Ibaji local government is an agrarian community with the most people involved in farming, fishery, and forestry. Also note that the absence of good road inhibits transportation of farm produce from Ibaji to other parts of the country, especially the southern part through Anambra State, with which it shares borders. Further note that Ibaji is plagued by gully erosions that has devastated the environment, thereby putting the lives of the people living in the area at risk. Concerned that there has been no visible effort on the part of the federal government to make the road from Ibaji to Anambra State motorable, despite the huge contributions of the inhabitants to economic growth of the country through commercial farming. Also concerned that the deplorable state of the road has led to increased rate of crimes such as armed robbery and kidnapping, among others, which now make the inhabitants to live in perpetual fear and
Honorable Yabo, approach the acting chief whip. Honorable Yabo,
cognizant
please.
that the poor road network with the attendant crimes has led to increase in price of farm produce, to the extent that food items have become unaffordable, thereby causing untold hardship to the people who are already living below poverty level. Mr. Speaker, respected colleagues, House to resolve, urge the Federal Ministry of Works and Housing to take immediate steps to address the challenge of road network from Ibaji to Anambra State. Also urge the Federal Ministry of Environment to take urgent steps to address the erosion challenge in Ibaji, and also mandate the Committee on Works and Environment to ensure compliance. Mr. Speaker, respected colleagues, I so move.
Harlins.
Distinguished honorable colleagues, I remain Honorable Abdullahi Ibrahim Halim. I represent the good people of Ankpa, Omala, Olamaboro Federal Constituency from the Confluence State, Kogi. I rise to second the motion as moved by Honorable Zachariah of Ida Federal Constituency. Thank you.
Yes, he's not. All right, it's an infrastructure motion, so we'll just put the question. Those in support, please say aye. Those against, please say nay. Ayes have it. Honorable Bill here. Honorable Bill. He's not here. Can we step down the next item, please? If it's also
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues. I am Abubakar Samflata. I represent Brunei, Krika, Sama, Guri Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, I'm from Jigawa State. Mr. Speaker, I move that items number 9 and 10 on the order paper be stepped down by the leave of the House. I so move.
Honorable Yabo, approach the acting chief whip.
Okay, Chairman, business and rules, please. Where are we?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues. I am Abubakar Samfulata. I represent Berniwa, Krika, Sama, Guri Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, I'm from Jigawa State. Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, I move that items number 11 to 13 on the order paper be stepped down by the leave of the House. I so move.
So we're stepping down 11 and 13?
Items, yes, 11 to 13.
To 13. That's the last on the other paper, isn't it? Okay. So any seconder, please. Honorable Jimo.
Represent Lagos Midland Federal Constituency. I stand to second the motion as moved that item 11, 12, and 13 should be stepped down. Thank you.
Items 11 and 13 step down. Leader, it's time to call it a day. It's time to call it a day. Igbakwa.
Are we not going in executive session like you promised?
Oh, yes, of course.
Your Excellency, Mr. Speaker.
Well, I think, sorry, Honorable Ben Igbakwa. Very quickly. Sorry, Leader.
And I have my letter with you there, my paper.
That's true. Yes. Ben, before we take you, let me make this very quick announcement. This is from the Leader of the House. This is to invite caucus leaders of the 7 states of the Northwest Zone, the caucus leaders of the 7 states of the Northwest Zone, for a very important meeting at the office of the House Leader, 4.26, House of Reps new building, by 3 p.m. today. 3 p.m. Caucus leaders of the 7 states in the Northwest. Ben, go ahead. Okay, your minority leader, go ahead.
Honorable Zakaria, allow the chairman army to concentrate, please. Honorable Zakaria.
I remain Honorable Ndudi Godwin Elmelu, and I represent the good people of Anocho Shuli Federal Constituency. I'm from Delta State. Mr. Speaker, Ben has no role anymore. He had finished his motion. All he needed was somebody to second it. So what we now need to do is to look for somebody to second the motion, because it was at the point you asked Osai to second that he brought point of order. So it's now for somebody to raise, to do the secondment of that motion. Then we'll start take it from there.
So, even though you didn't point us out to the order, it was just a general observation. But you are the minority leader, so the motion was stepped down. It was truncated. It was truncated. So the question is that whether it can now be taken de novo, or we just continue from where we are. But I think he can't just continue like that without us getting a report, because we stepped it down to look into whether or not that matter had already been taken by this House, which it appears that there might have been a similar matter, but not the same as from what I've seen. So I think on that basis, he can go ahead with his motion. But yes, your motion was pretty long, and I think we all listened carefully. The minority leader is right. In the interest of time, let's just get somebody to second it. Dr. Achibong.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues. I remain Dr. Henry Okon Achibong. I represent and speak for the people of Itu Federal Constituency in Akwa Ibom State.
Honorable Mwake is enough.
Mr. Speaker, I rise to second the motion as moved by my honorable colleague. I so second.
He read the body of his motion, he read his prayers, it's been seconded. I think it's comprehensive. Let's just put the question and we'll send it to the relevant committee, which I think in this case will be business and will be commerce and treaties and agreements. So we'll just put the question. Those who support, please say aye. Those against, please say nay. Ayes have it. Refer to commerce and treaties, protocols and agreements. Honorable colleagues, let's quickly revert very quickly to just a 10-minute before we adjourn the House executive session. Or better still, I think we can adjourn the House because of our visitors. Let's adjourn the House, and then members, please stay behind for a quick executive session meeting. So, leader, let's move for adjournment.
This is sad.
Leader, Blessing, what are you doing there? Leader, are you trying to acquire another?
Honorable Blessing, excuse the leader, please. Honorable Blessing, you may excuse the leader for now, please. Thank you.
Leader, what does Honorable Blessing want?
No, sir. Your Excellency, Mr. Speaker, honorable members, Blessing is consulting with me on arrangements to receive her into the ruling party, and you are aware of that. She's already a member.
It appears that members don't trust you, leader.
Yes, sir. So, as I'm still counting in the House, I'm also counting in the party. So I'm still counting in the party. She's the next to be counted in the ruling party, sir.
Okay.
Okay, sir. Thank you, Honorable Speaker, honorable members. Ado Dogwa is my name. Mr. Speaker, I represent Dogwa Tudunwada Federal Constituency. Honorable members, I'm from Kano State. I rise to move that this House do adjourn to Tuesday next week, 11 a.m. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, I so move. Thank you.
Acting Chief Whip, can you second? Acting Chief Whip, please second. Adjournment.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My honorable colleagues, I remain Maki Abubakar Eleman. I'm from Jigawa State. I represent Maramodun Kaugama Federal Constituency. I second the motion heavily moved by the leader of the House. I so second. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Before I put the question, let me thank our colleagues from Oyo State for sitting through the session. I hope it has been enriching for you. We thank you for coming. We look forward to seeing you again as visitors, not on any member's seat here. So those in support, please say aye. Those against, please say nay. Ayes have it. House adjourned to Tuesday, 11 a.m. So we'll just stay behind for a quick executive session.
Okay.
Mansur Manu, approach the chief acting whip. Approach the acting chief whip.